Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto got massive harem with Fem Sasuke, Fem Kurama and Kaguya part 2. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Hey, are you alright? Naruto asked the girl. Why did you save me? She asked Naruto. Because I know what it feels like to be hated and shunned for something out of your control. So what is your name? He answered to her. The name's Fu, holder of Lucky 7. Fu said sadly to Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki, former holder of 9 tails also known as Katsumi. Naruto said while pointing towards shoulder Katsumi who waved at Fu. How could you bear it? Fu asked him. Because I have people that actually care and love me for who I am and they keep me sane from the madness. He answered her as the girls blushed at the statement as Satsuki and Katsumi hugged him while inside Naruto, Kaguya and Naruto blushed. I guess you are the lucky one. Fu said sadly. How about you joined us, Fu? He asked her. Really? She said as they nodded. But what about Taki? Fu asked since she is a Taki nin and a jinchuriki to this village that despise her for something she didn't have a choice. Let me handle that, but first let's meet your tenant inside of you. Naruto said as he used his Mangekyo Sharingan to look at Fu's eyes while Satsuki gasped that Naruto has the Mangekyo Sharingan like hers as she looked at Katsumi who didn't reacted as if she knew already. He has the Mangekyo and didn't told me about it. Satsuki thought to herself, finding a reason why he didn't told her. Calm yourself, Satsuki. He has a very good reason to hide it as well. Satsuki thought to herself again as they went into Fu's mind. Fu's mindscape. The mindscape was wide and filled with water. There were rocks formations surrounding Fubuki with his 6 wings and middle tail exposed as Kaguya appeared as he prepared a tail beast bomb towards her, but she absorbed it easily. How are you even here, you one-dimensional emotionless psycho? Fubuki shouted at her, which surprised Fu since Fubuki is usually happy-go-lucky most of the times and rarely spoke to her. I will ignore that comment since it doesn't affect me and I've come to make a proposition. Kaguya said as Fubuki gasped that she saw Katsumi here. How are you even here, Katsumi? Fubuki asked her sister. Simple, I am complete and free from Naruto-kun's seal. She told her since he remembered before they were captured by Hashirama that she swallowed Ginkaku and Kinkaku when Kumogakure wanted to capture her for themselves but survived for 2 weeks by eating the flesh of her stomach. Gained some of her chakra after she regurgitated them. And took 4 of the 5 of Hagoromo's treasured tools. That he created with his creation of all things and sealed them on their arms before Tobirama was killed by them since Ginkaku and Kinkaku wanted to control Kumogakure due to the influence of Katsumi's chakra during a broker peace treaty between Tobirama representing Konohagakure and I the second representing Kumogakure to be allies, and since her soul wasn't present inside of them they became so feral that the chakra was killing them due to her absence. That's why no person can use tailed beast chakra without the respective tailed beast controlling it, or at least most of it, unless the user has the Sharingan or Rinnegan to control the chakra, unless they have strong will to confront it. So what is the offer, Kaguya? He asked with venom on her name. Simple, I use your and your siblings chakra to revive the 10 tails so I can be physically alive and you can be freed, but we need the demonic statue to revive myself properly. Your chakras are the only ones that are mine. She told him. What about humanity that we swore to protect to our creator Hagoromo? Fubuki asked worriedly as Naruto spoke up and filled with killing intent that changes into the form of the Shinigami as if Fubuki was looking at the god of death and also scared Fu as well. When has he ever actually helped you guys? Sure, he created you from the 10 tails and Kaguya's chakra, but had he ever taught you girls from the good and the bad? He released you when people learned how to use chakra. He forsaken his own mother due to a toad telling him about her sacrificing people. Sure, it's bad, but humans by default with power can easily corrupt themselves. Now tell me this. What is the most important thing that an Otsutsuki can't do? Naruto ranted to Fubuki. Never betray the clan. She answered in sadness since it was true that Hagoromo and Hamura betrayed them as well as Kaguya smirked. Join us Fubuki and you shall never be used again, and this is an Otsutsuki oath, daughter of mine. Kaguya told her, smiling and telling her something that Hagoromo never said before to his own creations. What Naruto and Satsuki learned about Otsutsuki is that they always put family, clan above all, even if they do bad things to get what they want, as their loyalty is to family and those who they can truly trust. If she gets free, doesn't it mean that I will die from extraction? Fu said, being unsure to agree. Actually, I know the jutsu that Katsumi told me to safely extract tailed beasts into a temporary seal without you dying, Fu. Naruto told her, who smiled as Fu looked at Fubuki, who shrugged. None taken, and that surprised me that Katsumi actually told you about that technique. Fubuki told him while Katsumi pouted cutely as they leave the mindscape. Real world. What it said? Ada asked Naruto. She's a girl and she agrees. Naruto answered as he helped Fu to seal all her belongings on a sealing scroll as they went to the Takikage's office to steal their secrets and kill the cage while making look like he off himself. While Fu waited outside as other people gathered around her as she covered herself with tailed beast cloak to defend herself. Hey Fu, we can actually leave now since we got what we needed for you. Naruto said as he and Satsuki looted the office for their scrolls and valuables. This is all your fault, freak. You brought the Akatsuki here. They just want the bug bitch. I say we give her to them. Yeah, we don't want you here, insect whore. Monster. Demon. Leave our village. Go die, demon. Fu looked at them all with wide teary eyes as her tailed beast cloak slowly vanished and she fell to her knees, her spirit broken by the hurtful words. Sure, it wasn't anything new, but she had hoped that by coming here and willing to fight and protect the village, they'd at the very least be thankful. Instead, they still hated her and even considered just letting the supposed Akatsuki take her, who gave her a good reason to leave. It actually disgusted Naruto, Katsumi and Satsuki the most. While Ada just looked, she had been willing to risk her life and protect them, and yet they just spat in her face. Namikaze actually did one thing right. He didn't made me into a weapon reliant of Katsumi's power. Naruto thought. The villagers already hated him for believing he was a failure and a nuisance. They knew he had also been Katsumi's container, as Naruto shuddered at the pain and hatred he have endured before he and Satsuki met Kaguya. In fact, it's likely the villagers would have killed him more gruesomely. It just further showed Naruto how pathetic and petty humans are, and why they deserve nothing less than total annihilation. Without a word, Naruto knocked Fu out with genjutsu and handed her off to a reluctant Ada. You girls wait outside the village, I'll be there in a moment. Naruto said, with the girls nodding, though not knowing what Naruto was planning. Cracking his neck, Naruto prepared to do something big, but he paused when one of the ninja clearly didn't know how to keep their mouth shut. Why are you still here? You already took the demon bitch, now get out of our village. The ninja sneered, with the others nodding in agreement, wanting the supposed Akatsuki to leave their home. Hearing this, Naruto chuckled darkly as a golden aura started swirling around him. You want a demon, Let me show where they come from. Naruto shouted, his voice mixing with Kaguya's. Immediately an aura of lightning and golden energy shot up into the sky and hid Naruto's form. Storm clouds began circling overhead as rain and thunder in masses was heard, with the pillar of energy in the center, while lightning flashed in the sky. The wind howled and raged, ripping trees from the ground and creating deep trenches in the ground, with anyone who didn't escape in time. Then to the people's horror, a gigantic black and red being in armor with 2 locks of hair fall on each side of the face and a single horn protrudes from the chin, resembling Naruto's current facial hair. It possesses a sharp Tengu-like nose and a jagged mouth, giving it a demonic appearance. His Susanoo was much larger than other users, reaching a size to a mature 10 tails. Was holding 2 black blades that were created from truth-seeking orbs. Katsumi, meanwhile, had seen the gathering storm clouds and the pillar of energy after getting far enough away, while being forced to land and take shelter in a cave when the winds became too intense. Then her eyes widened in absolute shock when she saw the pillar expand and from it emerged Naruto's complete body Susanoo in all its glory. "Oh Kami, he can do the full body Susanoo instantly," Satsuki whispered in shock at seeing Naruto using his Mangekyo and not tired out due to using pure nature energy. Without hesitation, Naruto unleashed a gravity beam on the village from the Susanoo's mouth, while his truth-seeking swords dove down and began turning people into ashes. The civilians screamed in horror and tried escaping only to be crushed by the Susanoo's feet or disintegrated by the swords. The Taki nin tried desperately to attack the Susanoo, but all their attacks didn't so much as scratch it, where the weapons simply bounced off and their jutsu had no effect. Some had even been desperate enough to drink the hero's water in the hope that it would grant them enough strength to fight Naruto, but once again, it was useless as they all died. All of Takigakure were now feeling fear and true despair as they realized how hopeless the situation was, when the head suddenly stopped attacking and then spoke. "I was originally just going to take Fu and leave you worthless humans alone," said in a mix of Naruto and Kaguya's voices. "But after seeing how you spat on her when she tried protecting you, you have earned my wrath," said Naruto. "Not that it matters, as I plan to wipe out you insects. You just sped up the process." Kaguya said. "You have all sealed your fates." Naruto and Kaguya said in perfect unison. With that, Naruto took flight into the air and called the biggest bolt of lightning straight towards him, his body lighting up as lightning coursed through him. Naruto unleashed 3 large gravity beams that combined into a single concentrated beam of lightning that struck Takigakure, engulfing the entire village in an explosion of lightning. Naruto continued to unleash his power for a few minutes before finally stopping. He then laughed sadistically when he saw that nothing remained of where Takigakure once stood, nothing but a massive crater. With that done, Naruto flew to where he could sense the girls and once was right above them, he started dispersing his Susanoo back down and landed right next to them. The Noirette looking at her lover with wide eyes that looked like they would fall out of her head. "Let's go, our business is done," Naruto said, with Satsuki being too stunned to say anything after what she just saw. "That power, it's unlike anything I've ever seen." With one attack, he destroyed an entire village and probably several miles of the surrounding area. That was with his power only, not using Kaguya's power to amplify at all. Katsumi thought in fear despite not that she is against Naruto but proud at him. While Zetsu was watching the whole, it made them worried that if Naruto never met his mother, they would be against her. He doubts that Madara and Pain together could stop him. Hell, he doubted the entire Akatsuki combined could stop him. As Zetsu disappeared into the ground, Ada then looked at the unconscious Fu in her arms and remembered her broken expression when her own village denounced and was willing to let her be taken. No wonder Ashiki told them about humans being corrupt with having power and their intolerance for the unknown. Ada said to herself while reassuring to Fu that everything will be okay. Fu's mindscape. Fubuki was looking at the knocked Fu. "Don't worry Fu, once you are up they will free you the burden of containing me without dying." Fubuki said in sadness, as like her sisters, she also hates humanity for hunting them down, but Fu gained her trust because all she wanted was a friend. Later, outside, before he left, Naruto took Shibuki's valuables like their forbidden scroll and artifacts as he wanted to take the hero's water but as was worthless due to having access to 6 paths sage mode already, but took it out of spite. "How about this if we find the masked man so you can torture him?" Satsuki told him as she kissed him and he grinned maniacally as they left where the former village was. She doesn't care that Naruto killing people since they already accept him, for he truly is someone who puts his new family first and would do anything to protect even if they don't admit it. "Yeah, I would love that," Naruto said smiling. "Let's roll, girls," Naruto said as the group with Fu, who was smiling for real in years as they left Takigakure with her new friends. Fu looked back smiling as her eyes completely turned red like Fubuki's as she flips the bird at her former village. Let's call our new future empire Black Sun. Naruto said as the girls thought it got a ring into it since the color refers to Amaterasu, which is hotter than a present yellow sun. Katsumi's mindscape. It was an endless void like when Katsumi was first sealed inside that bitch Mito Uzumaki but without having the adamantine sealing chains fill with wood-style chakra tasing her while roaming when Mito rarely visited. Always taunting her and persuading her to use her power to gain freedom since even if she had to wait 9 years to resurrect to be somewhere peaceful but then realized it would be worthless if they managed to find her and sealed her in another Uzumaki. Senju or anyone can have a tailed beast sealed properly but still would die due to tailed beast chakra. However, Senju and Uzumaki are the only ones who can contain the 9 tails without having ill effects. Ironically, despite complaining on being sealed 3 times she was only contained thus she never had a true jinchuriki and to her she was the lucky one. Better being inside a cage than on a leash. Katsumi thought to herself. For years she can sense the outside world while being sealed due to being an emotion sensor while Mito blabbing about having love. But never talked to me on a personal level or hearing my side of the story all while taunting her that her marriage was arranged and not out of real love. Katsumi looked at a wooden cage that has the familiar Uzumaki clan sealing symbol but the closer she saw the array that has the kanjis for death god, as she knew that it was the Reaper seal as there was a reason why Uzumaki should only use it and live to tell the tale that even Kaguya would never disrespect a true force of nature especially one who was adored by the Uzumaki clan from when Katsumi saw Mito's memories. As if she and Naruto's souls are literally melded until the Shinigami destroys the seal that is. But truthfully, she would stand by Naruto's side no matter what. As Katsumi saw a Rinne Sharingan and thought it was Kaguya playing a prank until a second Rinne Sharingan appeared next to the first one as Katsumi tried to back away in fear but couldn't due to wood tendrils trapping her feet. As Katsumi saw a young woman with a voluptuous figure and very long black hair with matching eyes. She is a woman with delicate facial features and her eyebrows are cut very short and round, a symbol of nobility. Her hair is tied in a loose ponytail, reaching all the way down to her legs that ends in a spiral, with taut bandages to keep it in place. Her attire consists ironically of a traditional shrine maiden and over that, she wore a white coat held closed by a red ribbon. What made Katsumi gasp was her Rinne Sharingan eyes and that she has 10 black tails. So my yin finally meets me. The woman said to Katsumi. Who are you? Katsumi said, as her breath was visible due to the cold mood of the atmosphere present. I am what we should have been in the beginning until that disgrace of Sage of Six Paths and his brother had to ruin it. Since all we wanted was to be left alone and look at the both of us. Even if we are complete we are still split apart mentally. Katsumi's dark half said while Katsumi was quiet since her dark half was letting it all of their bottled emotions out. Isn't there any way to free you? Katsumi asked her dark half. Why bother if you still keep secrets from Naruto and Satsuki, especially if you admit that Naruto is looking more like him? The dark half scoffed since Katsumi knows whom she was referring to. Naruto will never be like Indra and the curse of hatred doesn't apply to him. Katsumi yelled at her dark half until she was pulled closer to the cage with divine pull. That's because you never told him about their full family tree, my dear yin half. The so-called curse of hatred is just an ideal made by Black Zetsu's convoluted plan to free Kaguya instead of telling the truth to the sage's sons, and I know since we have seen Indra until we ate him on Turtle Island when he tried to become our jinchuriki against our will, but having only a pale imitation of our eyes didn't made his body strong to contain more chakra to control us with his Mangekyo Sharingan until we sensed Indra's corrupted chakra inside of him. The dark half said to her light half, who gulped due to being scared if Naruto and Satsuki react to find out that they are more related than they realized when she went into the hospital to find Kushina and Makoto's records and found revealing stuff of their parents and grandparents, as the latter is what shocked her the most since it was sealed tight, but being the most that contained Kaguya, 10 Tails chakra and memories formerly, since she has hacking skills due to helping absorb countless planets and inhabitants before, as one man's trash is another man's treasure to her. I will tell them when I feel they're ready, Katsumi said as her dark half scoffed. You may tell them eventually, but you are afraid of how they will react. The dark half said as her light half nodded. Well, what are you doing to do now? Leave me here alone, he dark half asked while pointing the cage that transformed into a collar with the kanji seal. I let you decide what to do when you're ready, so see you later, me. Katsumi said as she left her mindscape while her dark half shook her head. She doesn't want to admit it that Naruto is more Uchiha than she realized, especially from his blood. The dark half said to herself in sadness, judged by the reference, despite that he was the one who raised us years after the sage only created us so that the 10 tails wouldn't appear, but soon calmed down. Oh Sokka, if you were here you would have known what to do. The dark half said to herself, crying for the man she truly ever loved. Outside. Hey Katsumi, you zoned out there? Satsuki asked in concern. Just thinking about something. Katsumi reassured Satsuki while Katsumi briefly saw Indra in Satsuki's place. Are you sure you need someone to talk to? Satsuki asked her back, who Katsumi shakes her head. Despite still hating the Uchiha clan for using their eyes to control her, there are a few Uchihas that are humble and could trust with one hand, and those are Satsuki, Makoto, and the first Uchiha she has met during her young years after being created, Amaterasu Uchiha, along with her husband Saka Uzumaki, née Senju, who both were the founders of the Uzumaki clan. Just by seeing Naruto and Satsuki reminds her eerily like there are actually them, as those two were so powerful that they put Hagoromo and Hamura to shame and practically cut a tailed beast bomb with only a flick of a finger. I'm fine, Satsuki, Katsumi said to her, growling as Satsuki briefly backed away. It's just the Susanoo Naruto did back in Taki, as like I have seen it before. Katsumi said, trying to think of where she remembered that. Yeah, Naruto, how did you summon a full armor Susanoo at the first try? Satsuki asked. I don't know, as like I have done it before, but I was in Uzumaki before, so how was that possible? Naruto answered while inside Naruto was pondering. Where are we going, Naruto-kun? Fu said affectionately, since ever since they left Taki. Well, we have to pass Kusa first to get to Suna to find Kaide's jinchuriki. Naruto said to them. Fubuki looks like a young woman with a tall, slim, and curvaceous figure. She has chin length, dark green hair styled into a bob, and her eyes are light green. Her main attire consists of a long white fur coat, a dark green form-fitting dress, thigh-high black boots, and several necklaces. How do I look now? Fubuki asked, ever since Naruto had extracted Fubuki from Fu using tailed beast transfer and using 6 paths Yang seal to heal Fu from the slow extraction, and was surprised that Naruto filled her with natural energy and retained some of Fubuki's powers. Look, I got the feeling that I have seen that form of yours from somewhere and that I took your virginity. Naruto said while Katsumi began to sweat as if she was hiding something, while Satsuki and Fu blushed at the question. That is until Naruto and Satsuki sensed something or someone. What's going on? Ada asked, confused since she never seen this before. Naruto puts his index finger on the ground to sense something. I sense 2 female Uzumakis and, no, it can't be. Naruto said while the girls were amazed of Naruto's sensing skills, like the legendary Tobirama Senju, who can sense miles and learn the ancestry of people without even looking. What else did you sense, Naruto? Katsumi asked. I sensed the Sanbi in Kusa. Naruto answered as everyone gasped. I thought she disappeared after Kakashi killed Rin. Satsuki said as she had heard that story that dubbed Kakashi as the friend killer. How come she's there? Fubuki asked. I don't know, but I can sense her chakra without even meeting her. Naruto said as they all rushed to Kusa, while inside Katsumi, her dark half was stunned that Naruto can sense chakra that far. Kusagakure. As the group arrived to a small house where the two Uzumaki had, Naruto sensed live as Naruto knocks the door. Who is it? A female voice said, in which the door opens, revealing Karin Uzumaki. Yes, how may I help you? Karin asked the group. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto told her, but Karin got suspicious because Naruto has black hair as most Uzumaki have red shades of hair. Karin, is everything alright? A voice said, who has light brown hair in a chin-length bob cut that framed her face and brown eyes. Wearing casual clothing along with the Kusagakure headband protector, this is Rin Nohara. Katsumi made a jaw drop because Rin is alive. How are you even alive? Katsumi stared at Rin. Who are you? She asked Katsumi. You may not know me, but I have known you since you became a Konoha nin, Rin. Katsumi said while Rin was sweating. I don't know what you're talking about, since I'm a retired Kusa-jonin and a medic nin here teaching Karin to not rely on her healing bite technique. Rin said while trying to leave, but felt her chakra suppressed as she saw black chains coming from Naruto's back restraining Rin, who was trying to use tailed beast cloak. How did you knew I'm a jinchuriki? Rin asked while glaring at Naruto, but became dazed when she saw his Mangekyo Sharingan. Let me accompany him too. Satsuki said, touching Rin as well. Rin's mindscape. The mindscape was composed of a forest with a big lake that has the Sanbi sleeping. Wake up, Baozette! Katsumi shouted in her tailed beast form, which she became bigger than before, 500 meters, and more feminine, woke up Baozette from her sleep. Katsumi, how are ever here, and when did you get those eyes, since I thought you hated the Sharingan? Did you get even bigger? Baozette, who had to look way up, told her as she tilted her head until she swam back in the lake to let her see her reflection. What are you even talking about, Baozette? Katsumi asked her sister. Katsumi gasped as she realized that she has the same Mangekyo design of Naruto and Indra's, which surprised everyone since Satsuki has never seen two beings with the same Mangekyo design ever, unless as the eternal variant. Even if we are complete, our soul is still bound with Naruto-kun's. Katsumi's dark half spoke to her alone as no one heard it. Is she alright? Baozette asked Naruto, who shrugged, since to him it was normal because he has Naruto and Kaguya inside of him for now. I have the same eyes as Naruto-kun. Katsumi said, which surprised Baozette that she fell in love with a human again. Katsumi, do you love that guy? I thought you hated humans the most. Baozette asked while looking at Naruto. Yes. Got a problem with that. Some humans are still good, and the girls you sensed outside came with him by their own choice because he saved them. Even Fubuki is outside in her human form. Katsumi said threateningly as Baozette silenced herself and thought about the work choice, something that she never had, as they only existed to maintain the peace and so that Kaguya couldn't be revived. But seeing the rabbit goddess snuggling the male teen may possibly realize that Kaguya was never evil nor crazy with power from the beginning. This is the Nine Tails, Baozette. I thought she only knew destruction and hatred. Who would have thought she would love a human? Rin said as she was one of the few people outside of the elders that knew that Kushina held the Kyuubi. Not even Kakashi and Obito knew, while Katsumi growled since she insulted her, though who could blame her since it was humanity that made them this way. Yes, and she is my older sister Katsumi. Baozette said, referring to Katsumi. Wait, the Nine Tails is a girl. That is awesome. Then who is that woman floating? Rin said, which cheered Katsumi as Baozette looked at Kaguya. That Rin is our grandmother and our genetic template from the Ten Tails Daidara, which is her known as Kaguya Otsutsuki. Baozette introduced Kaguya to Rin, who shook hands that this woman with flawless skin and baggy clothing is the progenitor of chakra on the planet, and Kushina's son snagged her, and if Jiraiya would be here he would try to leech on Naruto like the pervert he is. The more Baozette looked at Naruto and Satsuki, the more she thinks that she met them before somewhere, but it gave her a headache just for trying to remember. Anyway, we have being meaning to ask on how are both of you alive? Satsuki asked while looking at Rin, who was on top of Baozette. As Rin explained her childhood and the time when Kiri kidnapped her to make her into Baozette's container to the time that she moved in front of Kakashi to die but couldn't killed herself due to another seal not letting her but realized that she forgot her dextrocardia and Baozette healing her heart but both got tired until some Kusa nin rescued me after seeing the massacre as I became a medic nin and Jonin. Even became the sensei of Karin as her mom Carla recommended so that Karin doesn't get bitten by people to heal them. As the years go by we came into an understanding that we could rely since I'm one of the more humble ones and bear no ill will against Rin. Baozette said while glancing at Katsumi who strangely didn't talk back until she realized something. Wait a minute. Now I remember when I was released as there was only one person who actually taught the one who managed to control me as it was the same person that controlled and sealed Baozette inside of Rin. Katsumi said. You don't mean that was actually him Katsumi? Baozette said. How does this involves me? Rin asked. Remember about the Mangekyu that the common way to awake it now is by seeing your closed one die near you or a moment of critical stress. Satsuki explained as Rin nodded. Meaning that the one who released me from Kushina was someone who was taught by Madara himself. The chakra from the masked man was familiar but it was foul with a certain wood-style user's DNA, albeit weaker to suppress our chakra but enough to control me with a mature basic Sharingan. Katsumi said as Rin was breathing hard as she knew one Uchiha who was considered her teammate. No, it couldn't be him. He died during the rockslide. And it was impossible to revive him after that. Wouldn't? Rin said as Kaguya interrupted. It would have been impossible to revive after being squashed in half unless they used genetic material from a white Zetsu. Kaguya said shocking everyone. What are those things that you're talking about Kaguya? Naruto asked. White Zetsus are former humans when I have used the infinite Tsukuyomi in order to build an army consisting of 100,000 white Zetsus that don't need to eat or sleep against the Otsutsuki clan but the drawback is that they are extremely weak on their own without covering someone and if someone with a lot of yang chakra come in contact with them they turn into trees. However their bodies are strong to use elemental jutsus, absorb chakra just by touching someone and are practically undetectable against sensors since they don't have their own chakra except for Naruto and Katsumi who are emotion sensors and from why I sensed on the one that is fused with Black Zetsu is that they DNA of the former transmigrant who was also your great-great-grandfather on your former father's side Naruto-kun. Kaguya explained. You're telling me that Naruto is great-great-grandson of Hashirama Senju? So that how it all makes sense as Asura's transmigrant has to be from his direct line since Kushina is a pure-blooded Uzumaki meaning that Minato had to have a parent who was a child of Hashirama and Mito. Meaning that I have to be a direct descendant of Madara Uchiha but my mom told me that Izuna Uchiha was my great-great-grandpa. Satsuki stated as they still kept her more secrets, thought is not as traumatizing as having her former brother killing the majority of her clan. Luckily her mom got a tip from someone as she made a blood clone that take her place since she has the eternal Mangekyu Sharingan but only Naruto and Satsuki know of that as they were the ones that made Makoto happy in the world and would have been devastated if she never see them grow up and spoil her with grandbabies. Indeed as Black Zetsu gave me the memories of that fated battle on what it is the Valley of the End as Madara Uchiha survived using a delayed Izanagi to his right eye after he bit Hashirama in the arm to gain a piece of his flesh but after that it skipped for a few years before he made his way into mountains, graveyard where after 50 years of healing his injuries using the piece of flesh, summoned my physical body from the moon, taking out white Zetsus from my physical body and when you combine Uchiha and Senju DNA currently to obtain, Kaguya said. The Rinnegan of the Sage of Six Paths. Baozette yelled. But why he wanted the eyes of the Sage of Six Paths if he would have done what he wanted back then? Katsumi asked. Because Katsumi the Rinnegan is obtained in 3 ways. Transplanted, use DNA of both Uchiha and Senju or having pure-blooded Otsutsuki DNA like Naruto and Satsuki have now from when I awoke their dormant powers. Even if he awoken back then people would have recognized him that he faked his death and I have the feeling that he was the one to have caused the death of Tobirama Senju and being indirectly responsible for the Uchiha massacre. Kaguya explained. Why the theory, Kaguya? Naruto asked. While I was sealed on the moon, I could only sense things while the moon is full. That I have heard about the distant relatives of Hagoromo gaining a bit of Katsumi's power during the early days of Kumogakure. Kaguya said. I remember that day when the gold and silver brothers Ginkaku and Kinkaku tried to capture me for Kumo, and I swallowed them, since during the centuries of existing after a certain incident that someone tried to control me with their Mangekyo Sharingan. Katsumi said while glancing at Satsuki. That they eat my flesh for 2 straight weeks until I vomited them, as they gained some of my former chakra, as most people die when they consume flesh of tailed beasts, but those 2 were one of the lucky ones due to being distant relatives of the sage. Later, after my sealing inside that bitch of Mito, since her being my first container that only a few knew of it and it was an SSS secret. I heard that they attacked Tobirama and I the second while trying to gain an alliance between Konoha and Kumo, in which the brothers staged a coup, but both Kage luckily survived until the first shinobi war that they were ambushed by the Kinkaku force, as Tobirama named Hiruzen Hokage due to had the guts because he wanted to be the decoy before Kinkaku killed him, and it was rabid and wild even for them, from what the sources told, that Kinkaku used the second version of tailed beast cloaks since he and his brother were pseudo jinchuriki. Meaning that Madara manipulated the brothers in order to avenge Izuna for Tobirama mortally wounded him. Katsumi told her story about the latest time she ate people. Well, that explains why I the third was trying to steal people with bloodlines, because he tried to replicate the brothers, as most of his shinobi died from eating the 8 tails tentacles. Rin said when Kushina told her about the time Kumo nearly kidnapped her for her Uzumaki bloodline, especially when she awoke the adamantine sealing chains. So about the massacre. Satsuki insisted, since there was more to it. The person I was referring to is none other than Obito Uchiha. Kaguya shouted as it made Rin and Katsumi gasped. It was Cry-Baby Obito. No wonder the chakra was familiar. So he saw the incident without context to awake his Mangekyo, and Madara manipulated him even further. There is one thing I need to know, is that how Obito knew about Naruto's birth, since it was an SS secret that only a few people knew. Katsumi shouted while Naruto laughed, because it's funny, the nickname for the guy that he will gladly kill. Think about it, Katsumi, who was the only person who watched Kushina in the shadows for 10 months. Kaguya asked her. Kakashi. Katsumi growled at the mention of that name. You mean Inu? Naruto asked while referring to Kakashi by Anbu code. Who didn't wanted the Uchiha clan to be involved during the attack? Kaguya asked Satsuki. You mean the mummy guy that has his right eye and arm in bandages? Naruto asked while Kaguya nodded in shame, since she created Black Zetsu to free her. Isn't that the guy that visited me the day after the massacre? Something about helping me get stronger. Satsuki said as Katsumi's eyes rolled out of her sockets while looking at Satsuki. Of course he had to be him, as he was expecting Minato to die when he used the Reaper seal, since it can summon an avatar that has a fragment of the Shinigami to seal someone at the price of the sealer's soul, unless you are an Uzumaki or have a mate sealed by an Uzumaki. Then both sealer and sealed would fight for eternity until they resolve their conflict, or someone frees them by using a Shinigami mask, but still need to cut your stomach to free the souls inside the avatar, and it still results death. Thus this is why the Uzumaki clan were feared by everyone, despite being a peaceful clan that takes family seriously. No wonder he wanted Kushina en route after she became an Anbu nin. How could Kushina told him about that particular seal to that sperm donor? No offense, Naruto-kun. Katsumi said to Naruto if he offended him, since he was Asura Senju, ne Otsutsuki's transmigrant. None taken as the man is an idiot that he would sacrificed his life and peace for a village that stabbed each other's back like they did to Tsukumo Hatake and might die. About the Reaper seal is that I somehow have seen before, not when I was born, like way long ago. Naruto said as Kaguya, Katsumi and Baozette narrowed their eyes. Okay, so Obito helped Itachi on killing most of the clan. Then how come no one realized it was him? Rin said as Katsumi showed images of both Madara and Obito wearing a mask from her memories. Madara Uchiha would never hide his face behind a mask, He always wore his red plate armor in battles after he became clan head. His two Mangekyo abilities were time rewind for a few minutes with his left eye and memorize the opponent's movements and could even distinguish a clone from the real one with his right eye. While Obito was controlling me using a matured basic Sharingan, which is impossible unless he has a lot of chakra to maintain me controlled, he had something called Kamui, but he has the short range that makes him nearly intangible, but he needs to be tangible again to attack and even teleport anywhere without hand seals, but it's not instant as Yomatsu Hirasaka. In order to attack him we need to seal his chakra and take his ire for Naruto to use a truth-seeking ball to kill him instantly. Katsumi explained. Wait, Naruto knows the truth-seeking balls? Baozette asked as Naruto made 3 and juggled it. What are those things? Rin asked. Those balls, Rin, are composed of the 7 nature affinities of fire, lightning, earth, water, wind, yin and yang, also known as chakra in its purest form, and the user can make them turn anything into ashes like Kaguya's all-killing ash bones, but more controllable and can change into anything by the user's will. With yin-yang they nullify any jutsu except senjutsu. Those balls are signs of a sage of 6 paths, that only one who has chakra of all 9 of us willingly, or of the 10 tails, which is Kaguya, and can use them at their fullest potential, and he has the 6 paths yang power seal, which can heal anyone by using the person's own life force, even revive the recent deceased without sacrificing their life, and even take life. While Satsuki holds the 6 paths yin power seal, which can create and even refine the most basic of jutsus into the more deadly ones. It can shut off the flow of spiritual energy and subsequent special chakra within the brain that enables dojutsu, essentially forcing said visual techniques to be shut off as long as the yin power's influence remains over that victim. The yin power can be applied onto the user's own spiritual energy as well, allowing them to manipulate certain key aspects of their brain. In doing so, they can immediately rid themselves of genjutsu influence while also enhancing their 5 senses to overpower an enemy's attempts at fooling them. Baozette explained to her. Both Naruto and Satsuki were amazed of what those seals can do in their fullest, and thought if they can obtain each other the seal that they lack to be equals to Kaguya. Okay, so what come here was if you two will join us to destroy the shinobi system, Ren and Baozette. Naruto said, as the atmosphere inside the mindscape got colder. So you are going to seal us inside the 10 tails' husk to physically revive her when it is our duty to avoid releasing Kaguya? Baozette said angrily as she launches a tsunami towards Naruto and Satsuki until Naruto used one hand to absorb the tsunami as if it was never there, not even a drop. He absorbed a whole ocean's worth of water with his left hand. Rin asked herself while looking at the scene as Baozette was scared. The only ones who could do that were the founders of the Uzumaki clan. Baozette thought to herself. If you are wise, then think about it. If Hagoromo never gave chakra to every human, none of this wouldn't happen. As before Ashiki and I arrived on the planet, there was still wars and violence, but it was minimal and less gory. I can understand why they sealed me, but having the fear of a clan that its sole purpose is to destroy planets in order to gain power for an endless cycle of hatred in vain. As the saying goes, even with all the power you can gain, what will you do next with it? Kaguya ranted but composed herself as Naruto comforts, as Baozette just stood there not saying anything about what Kaguya said. When it was the clan wars, it was every clan for themselves until Madara and Hashirama made the moronic shinobi system, which was worse since shinobis and mercenaries are the same thing, only that the wars are more organized than before, when the purpose was so that children would never fight. Satsuki yelled with her Mangekyo flaring as she calms down. We had 3 wars for what? Money, power, land. After Kaide was sealed, Hashirama made the moronic choice of hunting from Katsumi to Kuroka, and just by seeing in your eyes, Baozette, is that Hashirama pulled you with his wood style when you were in the sea and you begged, cried and tried to use tailed beast ball as he put his hand on your forehead and knocked you out. For people who preached about loving chakra, they hate it when chakra talks back. I can relate to that, as I held Katsumi's soul after that idiot Minato declared, and people wanted me dead by the first minute until Kaguya gave us the power and the most important thing, the right to choose. Naruto said. As Baozette shrunk down to reveal a fair-skinned, blonde-haired woman with blue eyes, horns, fangs, black heels, blue a spiked collar with matching armbands and a black strapless dress. Then Naruto came closer to her and Rin. You can join us if you want, so take the time to think about it. Naruto said as they left the mindscape while leaving Baozette thinking of the proposition. What do we do, Rin? Baozette asked his container, who was thinking of an answer. Real world. As Naruto, Sasuke, Katsumi and Rin woke up while Karin looked worried of her sensei who had tried to heal her mom with mystical palm jutsu along with Karin, but the bite marks are still present as Carla became weaker by the day. As Naruto puts his right hand as the Six Paths Yang power seal does its thing as it heals all of Carla's bite marks, as Naruto went towards Karin and did the same as well. As Carla wakes up, Naruto, Baozette and I agree that we will help you if you help Baozette be free from my seal and to never be sealed on another person again. Rin told Naruto as he nodded. Of course I will, since Baozette and I are family. Naruto said with sincerity that while inside Rin, Baozette smiled at the statement because not even the Sage of Six Paths never referred them as family. What about Ryazetsu? Rin asked. Who? Satsuki asked. As a friend of mine that I befriended here in Kusa, who is an Anbu prodigy, but I haven't seen her in a week and it worries me so much. Rin said as Naruto tries to sense her and found her. Meanwhile, you guys pack your stuff in scrolls because you will come with us. Naruto said, and the three nodded since he saved Karin's mother from dying. I will go to her right now. Naruto said as a swirling vortex covers from Naruto's right eye sucks him as he left using Kamui. Meanwhile in Hizuka Castle, a woman with fair skin, waist-length white hair that is covered by a green bandana that has a long curved white stripe which had belonged to Muku, and gray eyes with multiple circular patterns. She wears a sleeveless kimono over a green top that only has a long green sleeve covering her left arm along with the green bandana. Both her arms are bandaged up to her elbows. She also wears black trousers with shinobi sandals. This is Ryazetsu, former Anbu of Kusagakure. What do you want, Mui? Ryazetsu asked the father of her best friend who disappeared and showed her the box of ultimate bliss, a box that corrupts anyone who enters it and power to take over the world. However, it requires a ton of chakra of minimum of the One Tails chakra reserve in order to open it. He was going to sacrifice her to the box. As Ryazetsu tried to escape, Naruto suddenly appears and kills everyone except Ryazetsu as he was phasing the attackers while using Kubikiribocho as he can attack without being tangible. Meanwhile, giant trees appeared from the ground as they started to absorb the convicts' chakra while leaving them like dry husks. Meanwhile in Konoha, Tenten sensed someone having one of the 7 swords of the mist. Lucky bastard, Tenten said. Back with Naruto. As Naruto saw the box, he made a truth-seeking ball and swallowed it as it caused him to shoot a large beam like a tailed beast bomb to the box, thus destroying it. Wow, Ryazetsu said while feeling aroused while blushing. Come with me if you want to live. Naruto said as she gave her hand to him and returned to where the rest are currently. Back with the group. Ryazetsu, is that you? Rin asked as she hugged her tightly. It's because Mui ordered me to do something at Hizuka Castle. Realizing it was a trap to sacrifice me to the box of ultimate bliss. But this guy rescued me by killing Mui and the guards with Kubikiribocho while being intangible and made some black ball that he ate and shoot a large beam that destroyed the box once and for all. Ryazetsu explained. Naruto, don't tell me that you have Kamui as one of you Mangekyo abilities. Satsuki asked, surprised ever since she saw him made an armored Susanoo that was the size of an adult 10 tails. Suddenly Naruto was hugged by Karin, who had hearts in her eyes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, she said to him while crying. You think that I would leave a fellow clan member to die like that? Naruto told her as he helped using shadow clones to help Karin, Carla and Rin to move out until Zosui blocked them until Satsuki poked Zosui on the forehead and fell dead on the floor because with that simple poke of the forehead flings Zosui's brain afar all the way to Konoha and landed on the head of a certain pink-haired banshee that Naruto and everyone present even Baozette inside Rin had to cover her ears due to the scream that pink-haired banshee produced. Ah! Sakura yelled with all her might while Kakashi, who was reading happily the filth and garbage of smut that he calls art while wearing earplugs as Arashi and Menma were trying to take the brain out of her face, but she kept screaming. Somewhere in Earth Country, a girl had to cover her ears because the scream was so high-pitched from here that Luminous tied her tails around her head inside the seal. It was better being the 10 tails than this. Luminous yelled. Back with the group. Damn it, she's still alive. Naruto cursed that Sakura is somehow alive, but the longer she lives the slower she will be burned with Amaterasu, as Satsuki was rubbing her hands evilly at Naruto's idea. Naruto, we have made our decision to join your cause. Rin declared. Good, since we need to find the other jinchuriki to extract their tailed beasts and use most of their chakra into Kaguya's body to physically revive her. I have a question, did you ever use Baozette's powers before? Katsumi asked. Actually no. Since no one in Kusa aside from Karin, Carla and Ryazetsu know that I contain Baozette. Rin answered. Good, since the more you rely on a tailed beast's power the less you live even if you have their consent, and that's how Hagoromo got a disease for having the 10 tails sealed inside him even if he was a half-breed, unlike Naruto and Satsuki are actually now. Katsumi explained while Naruto gulped at the implications as Katsumi sensed his fear. No need to worry, Naruto-kun and Satsuki-chan, since both of you are a full-blooded Otsutsuki now. Katsumi answered as Naruto felt relieved. Well, let's go, since I destroyed Hizuka Castle as well and we need to go to Suna to find Kaide's jinchuriki since we need the tailed beast's consent. Therefore, the group went towards the land of wind to find Kaide now. Unknown to them, a woman with curly blonde hair saw them leave and grinned as she disappeared. Thought Naruto and Katsumi growled since they sensed that someone was watching them. Come on, no time a-wasting. Naruto said as he used a truth-seeking ball to turn Zosui's body into ashes that even affected the spilled blood caused by Satsuki. She has more strength than the old hag. Naruto said inside Naruto, with Kaguya agreeing. Indeed, I believe that she can also learn 6 paths sage mode, but most Uchiha have weak bodies ever since Indra and Asura drifted apart. Or maybe she has Senju, Uzumaki ancestry like Naruto having Senju, Uchiha ancestry that I didn't know about. Kaguya said. Did you notice that Katsumi that the same Mangekyo design as me and Naruto-kun? Naruto asked her, technically grandma, harem sister. Curiouser and curioser indeed, Naruto. Kaguya kept thinking on why is also affecting Katsumi. Asterisk, in an unknown realm. A fair-skinned hand is only seen, but the voices of a woman was looking at a giant TV screen. So the man that my cousin has fell in love with has returned to the land of the living, just like he said after he incapacitated that one-horned parasite son of the current clan head. I knew it would happen when I spared that Minato fellow due to having the Uzumaki mate mark. Thought the love of Kushina for him is slowly withering away, and it's a perfect was as karma than having him sealed inside my avatar alone as he watches his wife being taken by his youngest son. The woman said as she also looked at Satsuki using Amaterasu as arrows. It is her. My cousin Amaterasu has returned from her mourning as well. The woman said. Maybe it's time to return to the elemental nations, confess my feelings to him as well and give him more women to love since he has the biggest and purest heart she has ever met, even if he has some unorthodox methods to protect his family, but that's why I love him, since to him family is above all else. Just like you have said, Sokka. The woman said, giggling to herself. Konoha. Hokage Tower asterisk. As a message hawk from Taki, who is the Leaf's allied village, left a message that someone killed various shinobis of Taki and hung them upside down under the giant tree, as that the killer left a symbol of a black sun. Even pictures of Naruto's complete Susanoo that was impossible to not notice it. Who would do something so gruesome even by our standards? Minato asked Jiraiya. I don't know Minato, but my spy network told me that someone took their jinchuriki and destroyed the whole village in less than a day. Maybe it was Kakuzu, Jiraiya said. If it were him, then he should have taken their hearts intact. Maybe it was a rogue Uchiha, but not even Madara could make a Susanoo that big that surpasses the 9 tails standing up, and the Susanoo was black, not dark blue. By the way, who authorized to exterminate the majority of the Uchiha clan? Minato answered back. You did, Minato. Jiraiya said, since only he, Minato, Itachi and the elders knew about the order, but he doesn't remember that he signed the order for Itachi to kill all of his clan, even the ones who weren't involved at all. He remembered when Kushina heard that Makoto died, she made Minato sleep on the couch for a month. Narumi, the less said the better. Didn't you heard that someone destroyed Hizuka Castle? Jiraiya asked his former student, who did a comical face, that someone destroyed the most secured prison in all of the elementals nations like nothing. What of it? Minato asked him. My networks also found out that someone teleported there, killed everyone, even the warden, and destroyed the box of ultimate bliss. Jiraiya answered. Aside from that, when will I do the 3-year journey with Arashi and Menma? Jiraiya asked his former student. After the Chunin exams, Jiraiya. Minato told him. And teach them right, Jiraiya. More specifically, everything you know aside from them controlling the Kyuubi's chakra. If not, I will tell Tsunade and Shizune for what really happened to Naoki and Dan. Minato said threateningly with his signature kunai in hand, as Jiraiya gulped but smirked. Well, you don't want Kushina to know what really was the cause of the Uzumaki clan that Hiruzen told you before becoming Hokage, wouldn't you, my former student? Jiraiya retorted at Minato smugly as he left the office, unknown to them, as a small bird heard the conversation and poofed out. Suddenly, someone throws a bag of Ryos to Jiraiya's balls. Which has been happening ever since the deaths of Naruto and Satsuki, and since Narumi destroyed the organ that made Arashi and Menma males, that Tsunade healed them but made them sterile, thus making Narumi the only one who would continue the legacy, as she disowned them but kept the Uzumaki name, since she's a firm believer of the Uzumaki creed, also known as the will of the maelstrom, instead of the will of fire. Son of a bitch, who keeps doing that? Jiraiya yelled. If it were one of the hidden Anbu in the office or roots, since Danzo still uses them because they are a necessary evil for the betterment of Konoha, when it was obvious that Danzo only cares about himself and his own vision of Konoha by being the sole ruler of the nations with an army of his root nin and jinchurikis, since they had the feeling that he didn't wanted the Uchiha clan to help during the Kyuubi's rampage. Which they doubt that the masked man was the real Madara Uchiha, since Madara was mostly seen with his left eye exposed, not the right one. Meanwhile, with Naruto, Naruto got the memories of his shadow clone that he transformed into a simple bird to be up to date on Konoha, and heard an interesting conversation between Minato and Jiraiya of his actions from Taki and Kusa. He even made more to spend time with his informants Ino, because she is trustworthy and actually wants to be strong on her own, Megan, Ino's mom, Yukumo, because he and Satsuki saved her and her mom from a fire caused accidentally by Ito due to assassination attempts towards Yukumo due to her potential of her bloodline, Yuroko, the Kanoka core. Sai Shimura, female Sai looking like Momo Yaoyorozu. Shin Shimura, Shikadi, female Shikamaru who looks like Nico Robin. Chocho, Shino, female Shino looking like Suzumaki from Bleach. Hinata, Hanabi, Tainashi, female Tonari, Flare Haruno. Mebuki, she is a widow, Yoshino. Tenten, her mom Chun-Li, her aunt Catalya. Sum, Hana. Sengo, female Kiba, Leia, Lee's sister, Nelly, female Neji, Tuki. Ayame, Enko, Kurenai and his sister Narumi, by using shadow clones, thought his sister was acting weird when she was blowing his shadow clone's ear and nibbled it before it dispersed, that Naruto and Kaguya were betting that Naruto will bang his sister when she gets older. Naruto was going to protest but couldn't, since his sister is too precious to him, plus he couldn't lie since she isn't her sister anymore, as he is Kaguya's son, along with Satsuki being her daughter but being raised as shinobis made them have less of moral compass. As the group neared Suna, they saw a bandit camp near the border of the desert. How come you two can stand the heat? Fu complained since she didn't see Naruto and Satsuki sweating. The answer to that is that we are now pure-blooded Otsutsuki and we can withstand any weather easily and we don't even need to breathe at all. Naruto explained to them sans Ada since she know about Otsutsuki. So where is the jinchuriki of Suna? Fu asked while drinking water from a canteen she brought. Kaide is near. I can sense her that she is near in this very place. Strange, that she is tranquil since she always tries to threaten her jinchuriki to release her by making them an insomniac psychopath. Katsumi said since Kaide is too prideful and short-tempered than her now that she is free from her seal. As they near the bandit camp, Naruto cracks his knuckles and neck to start a killing spree until they saw sand floating towards the bandits as each one were surrounded by sand into balls drenched with blood. Sand binding prison. Someone said is all the bandits that were deaf due to someone made their ears explode so they wouldn't hear the sand moving as they were crushed inside while some had their heads sliced by the sound waves. One tried to escape but was tied up with a johio and the girl mummified the bandit with a flaming orb. Naruto saw 3 girls, as one was a petite girl with maroon hair that went just a little past her shoulders, along with normally obscuring the right side of her face, blank sea green eyes with black rings around them. Her attire was a black and red battle skirt, over her shirt that cover her low D cup that she wore gray mesh armor that stopped above her midriff, red boots rather than sandals, and a large gourd on her back. The second one has straight chin-length brown hair, dark eyes, fair skin, pair of C-cup, fair, wearing a blue-green blouse that hung off her left shoulder, a white and pink sleeveless shirt underneath, a short yellow scarf tied around her neck, black short skirt and her headband on the neck. The third one was peculiar who is fair-skinned girl, high D-cup and plump with blonde hair that it is straight and reaches her thighs, which is mostly covered by the hood of her jacket. She has a large bang that partially covers her forehead protector. Has gray eyes, which are accented by red markings and she wears pink lipstick. Her attire consists of a dark red full-body suit, which is worn under a lavender jacket with a large hood as well. She is wearing headphones. Her hood and jacket are worn to protect her from dust clouds and the heat. She also wears black gloves and bandages around her ankles and right thigh. Way to ruin the fun, don't ya? Naruto shouted as it attracted the attention of the 3 Suna girls as Gaia commanded her sand to attack Naruto, but Naruto created iron sand to nearly cover Gaia's sand that retreated back into the gourd. A man with sandy blonde hair, fair skin, and violet eyes, which made him look somewhat feminine. He wears bandages around his head. As an Anbu, he dons the traditional uniform of the Suna nin that includes a turban, the village's forehead protector, flak jacket as well as a cloth that hid the lower half of his face, leaving only his eyes visible. This man is Yoshimaru Subaku, uncle of Gaia, Kankuro and Tamari and brother of the late Karura Subaku and is the Jonin leader of the first 5-men team of Sunagakure consisting of himself as the captain, Gaia, Matsuri, Yodo and Kaide. Why did mother didn't kill them? Gaia said surprisingly. Mother. Since when she is a maternal figure? Katsumi said, which surprised her since Kaide was too arrogant to be a maternal figure. I heard that. How did you made iron sand from thin air? Kaide's voice was heard from under the sand as she emerges. Kaide's human form has pale skin, short pink hair, dark red eyes, horns that resemble cat ears from certain angles as these horns are a mixture of bone and cartilage. Wearing a pink shirt under a black dress. Has a red string bow, black and gray striped high-knee socks and black boots. Has a bandana on her head with Suna's symbol. How did you get out of the seal without her dying? Katsumi asked her brother while Naruto looked at Gaia's seal, while she blushed since this is the first person not including her brother and uncle to touch her. Who the hell made this pathetic excuse of seal who should be killed? Take their liver to dip it in hot oil and feed it to their family. Naruto said since he was an Uzumaki and sealing arts is in their blood and seeing this sorry excuse of a seal pissed him off. Chio. Matsuri and Yodo blankly stated. She only did a glorified storage seal and gave Kaide all the control, but I don't see her going crazy. Sorry for not introducing ourselves, as my name is Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto introduced himself, and so does the girls, Naruko, Kaguya, whose presence scared Kaide, and even Satori, who took the form of a well-dressed Muku, was the demon of the box of ultimate bliss that Naruto freed from before destroying said box, who sensed something familiar in Naruto and rescuing Ryazetsu. When Kaide saw Kaguya, who used Naruto's shadow clone transformed as her without her horns, the slit of her Rinne Sharingan and shorter hair that reached to her neck, as the Suna team thought she was a Hyuga, as Kaide hid behind Yashimaru while trembling. "What's with you, Kaide?" Yashimaru asked the One-Tails in human form. "I knew this day would come since I stopped having the bloodlust during full moons before Gaia was born, all because of her," Kaide said, scared, pointing at Kaguya. "All I see is a harmless lady and her lover," Yashimaru said, with Kaide giving him a "are you shitting me?" face while Kaguya blushed at the statement. "Harmless? You don't even know who she actually is, and good thing you aren't a censor, since you would tremble and piss yourself at the amount of chakra she still has," Kaide warned them. "Can someone explain me why is Gaia sane and absolutely beautiful? Because she has gotten her beauty sleep," Naruto said, not noticing that Gaia had a nosebleed, while Kaide noticed the resemblance on Naruto from someone he has met a very long time ago. "That would be us. Ever since when we were kids, we always saw Gaia alone, not even with her older siblings, since they had to wait until Rasa or Anbu wasn't spying on them. Even we were shunned by almost everyone since they saw us as out of place too, due to our bloodlines, since I have sound style and Matsuri has scorched style like her mom Pakura. Heck, if it weren't for Kaide, Aunt Pakura would be dead already due to Rasa and the council finding ways to eliminate her," Yodo said to Naruto, since in Suna the higher-ups hate her since she has the potential of becoming Kage but would never elect a female Kage to lead despite her aunt having an isolated life in the village despite being loyal to it. Yodo is a descendant of Bunpuku, something that Kaide sensed in Yodo, but she hated on becoming a priest since it's not her style. "I understand that since a jinchuriki and tailed beasts are not weapon but beings who have feelings and ambitions. But the question is, how is that Kaide is not rampaging now?" Naruto told them, as Gaia was amazed that someone could relate to her, while Kaide rolled her eyes. "Well, is because we met her before inside the seal," Matsuri said, since the group seemed trustworthy, especially Naruto. "Come again," Katsumi said, since this surprised her, since Kaide would never do that unless she was threatening them too. Flashback a few years ago. Little Gaia was alone playing with sand in the park when a boy threw a ball near her and caught to give it to the boy, but the sand on her gourd reacted violently and scared the boy away, which saddened Gaia. Two particular girls got near her and waved their hands to say hi to her as Gaia was looking around and pointed on herself, and they nodded. "Do you wanna hang with us?" Matsuri asked Gaia, who stood there and cried as they came near, but Gaia's sand didn't react. "No, please don't come near me," Gaia shouted as she shed tears while the two girls were near her unarmed. There, no need to cry. What's your name?" Yodo asked Gaia while hugging her. "Gaia," she answered back shyly, since it was foreign to her to be hugged, that not even her family never hugged her without the fear of being killed due to something. "Inside the seal, I sense someone familiar to me," Kaide said from inside the seal as she made Gaia spit sleeping gas from her mouth. Outside, the three girls suddenly became drowsy as Kaide cackles, as she will finally meet her jailer and her new friends just to scare them. "Where are we?" Yodo asked as they woke up on water, as it was endless, and saw little rock peaks, bigger than the girls, around a giant tanuki dog made out of sand and strange marks that seems like cursed marks. "Finally, my jailer finally meets me. Oh look, she brought friends," Kaide said towards Gaia, as Yodo recognized Kaide from her mother's stories about her great-grandpa Bunpuku. "You're Kaide, the one-tailed sand raccoon," Yodo said, pointing at Kaide, who faced fault about being called a raccoon. "How dare you call me a raccoon? I am a tanuki, you brat," she shouted as she tried to attack Yodo until he saw a giant flaming orb in front of both, as she saw Matsuri controlling it. "One more step and you become pure crystal. Got it?" Matsuri told her with a voice of maturity as Kaide huffed and went back to the rock formation, since even if she can be dead for a year, as being in crystal is like being the 10 tails again. All you humans are the same, with using our powers to just kill each other ever since Reto captured me when he ordered Suna priests and sealed me in a teapot when I wanted to be alone. She shouted as Gaia began to cry again. Then she looked at Yodo again as he looked at the closely, not like a pervert, as she laughs again. I can't believe that the old man actually has a descendant. She said to Yodo. Me? Yodo asked. Yes, you, as I can smell a bit of bunpuku within you. Kaide said as a rule from cages is that the jinchuriki has to be someone from the same family as the cage or a loyal friend, as bunpuku was the father of Reto, which he disowned him for being her jinchuriki, as erased all documents of their relation, but tailed beasts always remember. To Yodo it made sense, as she always wanted to learn sealing arts to incorporate it on music, but Suna has been low on funds ever since Konoha, due to the current wind daimyo, have been accepting more missions with cheaper prices because of Hiruzen Sarutobi. That technically somehow makes us family, Gaia. Yodo said as she looked at Yodo with a smile on her face, as Kaide looked at her hands that formed two kanjis, except in heart, on the palms of his hands, and looked back at the three girls because bunpuku was similar to the man that taught her and her brethren, and she's not referring to Hagoromo. I won't mess this up. Kaide thought to herself. End of flashback. So you guys are lucky to have each other, as I envied that before. He said as he looked at Satsuki, Katsumi, Ada, Karin, Carla, Rin and Fu as he smiled. Gaia even told them about her uncle tried to kill himself. Because Rasa ordered him to kill her, as he tried to separate her from her two best friends that Gaia nearly snapped and nearly left Kaide gain control, but she didn't, and on that day they awaited the perfect moment to kill Rasa and Chio, especially the latter for making a mockery of a seal that she was made to do despite her lack of experience in sealing arts, as she was a puppet and poison expert that Yodo tried to fix her friend's seal, but an Uzumaki has the expertise to make fine sealing with ease, as she overheard from Gaia's older sister Tamari from Suna's spies that the last Uzumaki was Kushina Uzumaki, that despite the Leaf being allies of Suna, they didn't want to suffer the wrath of the Red Death after what she did to Kumo, Iwa, Kiri, and their own village on her own, as she is more dangerous than Minato Namikaze, and the only one equally dangerous as her was Makoto Uchiha, also known as the demonic lightning princess of the Sharingan, who was on the same scale as the Madara Uchiha, as she was the only Uchiha so far to gain the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan without changing her eyes, that could make even the Kyuubi obey her with a mere glance without using it, and the ability to use hot pink lightning without hand seals. The good news was that Kaide used her human form to knock some sense to Yoshimaru to not kill himself, because he's the only relative aside from Yodo who isn't afraid of Gaia, and that Karura is protecting Gaia with the sand of her gourd when Gaia was born. In that very moment, Yoshimaru swore to love and protect Gaia like a real father. If you guys need refuge, you can come with us to Suna, Yoshimaru said, and Naruto accepted it. Sunagakure. As the group arrived at Suna, as they began to explore the village, as they arrived to Matsuri's house where Gaia and Yodo also live after they became best friends. While Rin and Ada went towards Sunagakure's hospital, and Katsumi went to see how they use puppets for combat. Oh Matsuri, I didn't know that you brought new friends and a man that is quite the looker. A voice said coming from the kitchen as the person come out to greet herself, as she stared at Naruto and couldn't leave her eyes out of him, thought she confused him with a younger version of Madara Uchiha briefly due to having the hairstyle and showing his left eye only. A woman fair-skinned with pupilless brown eyes. Green hair that is tied in a bun on top of her head with a hair needle running through it, and one short and long strands of hair with orange tips framing each side of her face. Wearing an attire that consists of a sleeveless, backless top and short tight pants, with two lapels on the front and the back. Wearing an obi around her waist, as well as purple arm warmers, which extend up to her shoulders, and has bandages around her tights and ankles. This is Pakura of the Scorch style and hero of the Hidden Sand, but the council and Rasa fear her due to her potential in becoming the first female Kazekage who is not from the Subaku clan. Good news, Pakura. Naruto here will free me from Gaia's faulty seal made by that bitch Chio. Kaide told her, which made her worried since containers and jinchuriki die when the tailed beast is forcefully extracted from them. Don't worry, since I did the same thing with Fu over here, had Fubuki safely extracted. Naruto said as Fu greeted her while Fubuki, who was floating, gave a two-finger salute at her. How would you do that, since extracting a tailed beast would cause their chakra to spike, and wouldn't people notice it? Pakura said as Naruto's eyes shifted into his new eternal Mangekyo Sharingan that looks like the typical Uzumaki 4 seal symbols, or Reaper Death Seal, while Satsuki's has an additional 3-pointed shuriken in the center of it, in which Kaide have seen those designs somewhere but can't remember it. Kamui. Naruto said as she sucked everyone present and himself to his right eye. Naruto's new home dimension. Unlike a typical Kamui's dimension that Naruto, and somehow Katsumi share due to having the same ability. However, unlike Obito's this one, where it is shown to have the same atmosphere as Earth, but Naruto, and Katsumi can manipulate the dimension at will. It even has a huge manor, imagine the Croft Manor of the Survivor timeline, but bigger and painted black, with the Uzumaki swirl located at the front door, within the dimension that can also be sealable to any place. In order to do the extraction, Kaide has to be inside of Gaia again, since I need all of Kaide inside in order to not leave traces of him inside of her. Naruto explained as Kaide understood and poofed inside of Gaia's mindscape in order to be fully extracted from her as she transformed into her tailed beast form that lacked her natural cursed marks so that she would have temporary freedom. Naruto extracted Kaide fully from Gaia's body as Satsuki and Karin were using mystical palm jutsu to keep Gaia alive until Naruto do what he was going to do, as he did with Fu. As red and blue fire as energy appeared in Naruto's hands as Kaide gasped at what he was seeing. Is that what I think it is? Kaide asked, shocked. Yes, it is, sister. Naruto knows the creation of all things. Fubuki answered as Naruto created an exact copy of Kaide's purified chakra as Satsuki and Karin cancel the jutsu they were doing as the chakra went inside Gaia as she was breathing normally again as she felt more tranquil with herself. Not that she hated having Kaide inside her, but the new chakra feels like it is her own and also felt more powerful, like she was absorbing nature into herself. I finally feel normal without having nothing to hold me back. No offense, Kaide. Gaia said. None taken, since this is the first time in more than 50 years to have real freedom. Kaide answered with no ill will towards her since she gained his respect and trust. What the was that? Pakura asked when Naruto made a copy of Kaide's chakra. That Pakura was the creation of all things. A simple but very powerful jutsu that the user can create anything they can imagine and breathe life into it, as it was the same jutsu that created us from the chakra of Dadara, the 10 tails, and even the sacred tools of Kumo, which were originally from the Uzumaki clan. The user needs to know yin-yang style in order to do the jutsu to its full capacity. Kaide explained to them, as they were amazed that Naruto knows the same jutsu used by the Sage of Six Paths. Wait a second, if you know the jutsu, why not use it to revive Kaguya then? Kaide asked as he paused as Kaguya and Naruto shook their heads. Because she needs her original chakra that we still have. Fubuki answered bluntly, since Katsumi's chakra is new as Arashi and Menma still have her original one, as she told to Baozette as well. There is something that I need to do that will make Gaia happier. Naruto said as he used creation of all things again as he created a human being, and by the looks of it showing the form of a woman that has shoulder-length, sandy brown hair that framed her kind-looking face, and indigo-colored eyes. Wearing a simple outfit along with a long, light yellow scarf draped loosely around her neck. The woman opened her eyes and the face of Gaia as she went closer to her and hugged her. Gaia, is it actually you? Karura asked her youngest daughter as Gaia began to cry in joy for seeing her mother since her birth, which was 17 years ago. Mom, Kaide was right, you were always protecting me with my sand. Gaia asked her as Karura smiled of seeing her biological mother alive. Welcome, Karura, to the land of the living again. Naruto said to her. Gaia, is this your boyfriend? When can I expect grandchildren to spoil? Karura asked her, which made her blushed. Mom, you are alive for less than 10 minutes. Gaia stuttered since it was unexpected. As they finished, Naruto took them out of his dimension and back to Pakura's house as Kaide was keeping Karura up to date in boys. She was pissed that Rasa ordered Chunin, Jonin, Anbu and even her own brother on trying to kill Gaia because Rasa thought she was a failed experiment but was glad that Kaide managed to persuade Yoshimaru to not kill himself since Karura would never wanted that to him. Later after that, Naruto went on a date with Gaia in a classy restaurant of Suna as people present were looking at them and prayed for the man if he dies in the hands of Gaia since they still think she is still Kaide's container, but Naruto and Gaia ignored them while Rasa was there spying on them, but Naruto sensed Rasa's killer intent towards him as he unleashed his own, which scared the men and aroused the women. I know you are there, Rasa, and get the hell out of here. Naruto yelled at the disguised cage while Gaia made an orgasm face in front of him, and it embarrassed her since it was her first consensual date with a man. Suna cage's office. We see the fourth cage, Rasa Subaku, user of the gold dust, talking with the missing nin created by a certain war hawk, Benzaiden, or better known by her male alias Orochimaru, and her right-hand girl Gurin of the crystal style. As they were planning to invade the leaf during the Chunin exams with Gaia and Kaide as the secret weapons during the third round of the exams. Unknown to them, as Naruto was hovering invisible outside by the window as he heard the conversation and smiled evilly. Interesting, Naruto said while smirking as he explained to his group, now dubbed Black Sun, with now Gaia, Matsuri and Yodo joining as they heard about Benzaiden's plan to invade Konoha. As Satsuki saw the gleam in his eyes that send her shivers, and then she feels arousal, while inside Naruto's former seal Kaguya and Naruko are seen masturbating again as she felt Naruto's true power, while Satori was muttering that his new summoner is a lucky bastard. Inside Naruto. Yes. I want him inside now. I need that hard rod on all my holes pronto. She shouted as she had a dildo on her, with one hand fondling her to climax as she cum on the water of the pond. Inside the cage's office. Really, Benny? You started a plan without me? Naruto said, shocking the ones in the office as they see Naruto with Gaia tightly holding his right arm, while Kankuro and Baki were shocked that Gaia found a boy without murdering them. As Kankuro fainted while Tamari sensually licked her lips as Gaia gave her a glare of, "This is my man now and you must worship your new god." Rasa remained neutral with Gaia and Kaide since having them both would make the village look strong when having a perfect jinchuriki at their disposal, but feared that they would leave the village due to the assassination attempts he ordered towards her, and judging by her movements, she looks stable and more powerful without having Kaide inside of her. Naruto's group made their presence in the reunion as Benzaiden and Gurin began to make out with Naruto while Gaia glared at Rasa using killer intent. Orochimaru is a woman. Everyone, sans Naruto, Satsuki, Katsumi and Gurin, thought at the same time. Gaia. Rasa said neutrally to her. Kage-sama. Gaia answered coldly back at him since her love for him was destroyed during her birth when he ordered to have Kaide sealed inside of her during premature birth while Kaide had her arms crossed. And they say that I'm a monster. Kaide murmured. Oh, and Kage, I brought you something as well. Naruto said, cackling as he showed a box containing the head of Yura. Why did you kill him? Rasa was shocked due to Naruto killing an advisor. Naruto used a bit of natural energy on his hand to attract something from Yura's brain as a small metal needle that Naruto was holding, but he quickly melted it. I sensed that he was a sleeper agent. Naruto answered. I knew something was suspicious of that guy as he had memory concealing manipulative Sanjutsu needle on his brain, and I know only 3 people who ever used it before. Chio, Iroh the third Kage, and the guy that killed him known as Sasori. Kaide said while Benzaiden stood quiet. But why Sasori needed a sleeper agent? Tamari asked Kaide. Because of her. As there is an organization with the objective of collecting tailed beasts in order to create a super weapon for world peace. Benzaiden said, pointing at Kaide. You don't mean. Kaide yelled. Yes, because I was a member of the Akatsuki in order to gain protection from hunters and a body of an Uchiha with a Sharingan to gain more knowledge, but realized that he was damaged goods both physically and mentally retarded of following orders to AT that I have seen the supposed weapon made of wood with 9 closed eyes. Benzaiden said as she looked at Satsuki if she got angry of the indirect mention of Itachi, but all she was a calm face while Kaide screamed as she began to hyperventilate. No. No. How can it be on the planet and not on the moon anymore? Kaide yelled frantically as sand was forming to make a sandstorm inside the office until Naruto touched her on the forehead to calm him down because Naruto energy was familiar to her somehow. What the she is talking about? Gurren inquired. You guys think that I'm dangerous when you have never seen a true monster in action that can turn a single planet into a lifeless wasteland in mere minutes. Kaide said, which truly scared Rasa. Wait a minute, is there such thing more powerful than the 9 tails? Tamari asked as he nodded. Yes. Kaide simply said while glancing at Kaguya, who shrugged. Having that aside, what is the plan that you're referring to? Naruto asked Benzaiden. I'm planning to invade Konoha with Suna as our allies and kill Hiruzen for not making me the Yondaime Hokage. Benzaiden said while most had a, really? Face. All of this just to kill Hiruzen Sarutobi. Rasa yelled angrily. Well, since he and Danzo were the ones who ordered Root Nin to contaminate your village's water supply despite being your allies, then yes. Benzaiden answered back until Rasa looked back at Kaide. Wait a minute. Why did you explain about a beast more powerful than the 9 tails now? Rasa asked the Sand Tanuki in human form. Because it's the only truth you will ever hear from me before you die. Kaide said, laughing crazily at Rasa, who was confused at the statement that he didn't notice the presence of someone behind him. When suddenly Gaia uses cursed seals of Kaide to seal Rasa's movements as she killed him with a kunai made of iron sand that made him fell on the floor nearly lifeless. That's for ruining our lives, killing mom, ordered my uncle to tried to kill me, nearly sell out Pakura, and that were not your weapon. Gaia shouted at him as she cuts Rasa's head as she finally killed the man that ruined her life as Naruto pulled out a truth-seeking orb to pierce Rasa's corpse into ashes. Like I was saying, that the plan won't work if Minato is present, as he can use his flying thunder god and that he is also a Fuinjutsu master but not superior to mine, and you don't need the first 2 Hokages to kill Hiruzen since he will use that technique to seal them, and since Hiruzen is way past his prime he would possibly seal your arm's soul fragments instead with it. If you have seen what technique Minato used to split and seal the 9 tails. Naruto explained to Benzaiden, who gulped while glancing at Katsumi. Time skip 2 hours later, Pakura's house. What do you propose then, since you are already in Oto Jonin along with Satsuki and Katsumi for what you did in Taki and Kusa? She asked him, and he smiled at her. We use the invasion as a distraction and take the good people who are worthy in my eyes out of the village. Naruto answered as Naruto made his 6 paths chakra cloak and began making out with Benzaiden that even with the white Zetsu body she managed to acquire that included the facility of transforming into anyone by mere touch and even use wood style, but not in the same potency and the power to calm tailed beasts and the life force that oozes from Naruto that even him touching her she would turn into a tree. So with her knowledge and Naruto usage of yin-yang style, he used creation of all things to give Benzaiden a proper body, as she did living corpse reincarnation for the last time to a body that grants her senjutsu to greater heights than from the snakes and toads, and even gave her the Mangekyo Sharingan that won't blind her to help her with her quest for knowledge during her immortal life. However, she can't transform into a giant white snake nor switch bodies, but the advantages surpasses the disadvantages as she only used white snake form to switch bodies. Naruto and Kaguya kept watching the makeout session after Naruto changed back as Satsuki, Katsumi, Fu, Ada, Karin, Gaia, Matsuri, Yodo, and even Gurren invited themselves as he prepared shadow clones to not make them feel out, since he has a huge heart and that he is possibly the last living male Uzumaki with an intact reproductive organ that can make sperm on the planet. Meanwhile, Pakura was staring at the makeout session and the loads that Naruto was giving them. As outside of Matsuri's room that her daughter shares with Gaia and Yodo, as she was blushing a storm even with a stone face and fingering herself because her husband died on a mission when he was escorting Rasa when some missing nin of Kumo ambushed them. Just by seeing Naruto with all these girls and even Benzaiden, she got jealous at the love she is seeing. Feeling jealous that you aren't there with them, Pakura, Kaide said smugly while lightly scaring her. Oh, it just you, Kaide. Pakura said to her despite being a tailed beast that she thought are mindless beasts of power, but she was grateful that he with help of Gaia, who was a bit younger, saved her from leaving the village from a peace treaty with Kiri when it was actually a trap meant for her to be killed when Kaide saw the file in Anbu. Thus she was forever grateful for the Sand Tanuki even if she has to stay in the village that had tried to backstab her and would leave Matsuri and Yodo as orphans, as they need to be strong enough to leave this forsaken village. And she laughed that Gaia killed Rasa and that Gaia isn't a jinchuriki anymore. You and I know that this village will never accept us, Pakura, as they only treat us as nothing but tools and weapons. Kaide said calmly. Despite that, she had hatred against her sister Katsumi for always bragging about being more powerful, for having the most tails, that she grew resentful, which caused a rift that bit there with their brethren, that they left her in the mercy of Madara Uchiha as Hashirama started to hunt down his siblings, even Kathal, who was the second strongest, with Kaide actually being third due to also using her natural cursed markings. Years of being contained until Shaman the Nadaime Cage started to improve Suna by using the terrain, poisons, puppetry, and trying to use Kaide's powers for greed with the excuse of, for the betterment of the village. Then Karura came along the conversation while drinking tea calmly. You fear for her life as well, Pakura, and thank you for being there for Gaia as well, that she even found real love even if she has to share other girls with Naruto-kun. Naruto-kun, Karura, are you gaining a crush on Naruto as well? Kaide grinned at her as she blushed. At least let me wait a few years or so, Karura said as Kaide giggled while Gaia smiled at her sleep.